welcome to the It's On Us podcast. This is actually the first episode, and I'm your gracious host, Leonard Williams, and I have a special guest with me named Stacy.
Hey.
And how do you pronounce your last name?
Rahaka.
Rahaka, okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna talk about the November 8th election. So what was going on in your mind as you've seen the electoral college votes just coming up for Trump and the popular votes?
It was crazy because throughout, seeing Florida being on hold, and then, Delaware came up, a few other states had Hillary, Trump was still in the lead. I, in my mind, still believe that Hillary had a good chance of winning the election. I don't know if I was too hopeful about it, but I really, really thought she was gonna win. Even into 3 a.m. when I was still up, watching them come in, not really, because it was kind of stagnant. I was like, oh, she still has a chance, even though she was 50 behind. But then at 3:20-ish, when it said on CNN, I was watching CNN, it said Hillary calls Trump to secede election, and I was like, oh, she's telling him to accept the vote, because I looked up the definition of secede, and it's like accept things the way they are. I'm like, she's telling him to secede to the election and be like, whatever result is here, just take it. But then learned that she was the actual one who was like, congratulations. So then that's when it got real. Called my friends. My friends are bawling their eyes out, just couldn't believe what's going on. And then the magnitude of this was just crazy. So I'm still kind of in denial about it, but yeah, it was wild. How about you? How did you find out?
This was the first time I actually stayed up for an election. Well, you know what? I think with Barack and Romney, it wasn't even this long.
Yeah,
we found out quick. Who was going to be our next president. Even with McCain, it wasn't this long.
Yeah.
This was going on forever and ever. And I couldn't sleep because I said, it's no way he's going to win. In my head, I was like, it's no way he's going to win because all the things he said, degrading women, degrading Mexicans, blacks, and, he says Muslims, but I know that means Arabic people, so it's just like, there's no way he's going to win. So why his votes are going? I was like, yo, this makes no sense.
Absolutely no sense.
And I at least thought the electoral college wouldn't pick him. I thought it was gonna be a sweep. And when he was elected president, I was like, oh my god, it was like I gotta be dreaming.
Yeah.
It has to be fake. Even the news reporters, you could see how shocked they were. They were scared. They were like, well, not on Fox News, but
I was just
other news sites, they were just like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump, you elected Donald Trump. Like, what the?
Yeah.
But Hillary, I heard she won a popular vote, but it was like neck and neck kind of.
Yeah.
So.
I don't understand that. Why we still have this electoral vote system when, if the popular vote is asking for something, shouldn't a democracy go with that popular vote? I don't understand those numbers. But the second I saw PA come through, I was just like, what? Pennsylvania? Trump?
When Florida came through first, I was when that hit, I was like, okay, all right, Hillary, you gotta get these states.
Yeah.
But like you said, to me, the electoral college and popular vote thing doesn't make any sense because if the American people wanted one person, that's how
Exactly.
Because if you don't elect who the American people want, then riots happen.
Exactly.
Either way, I could see riots happening on both sides because it was neck and neck, but at least most of the people wanted a good person, at least who we thought was a good person. Like Hillary, like you said, she was overqualified to be in this position. There's no way that a person with no experience in politics who says what he wanted to say, I think this is a prime example of white male privilege.
Absolutely.
Prime example.
My relatives in Kenya at the moment, they hit me up. They're like, wow, the United States has set such a bad example about women. What are we saying about women?
Yes.
You have literally 30 years of experience, absolutely overqualified, and then somebody who's never gone into politics, has failed businesses, uses incredibly foul language on publicly, doesn't even care, and then you have him win sexual assaults. It's just ridiculous. I don't believe that this is what America has come to, but at the same time I understand that this is what it's always been. So it's kind of just like rising up to what it's always been.
And you always hear like people say, black people go out and vote. Like they tell a whole bunch of black people to go out and vote every year, even every election, no matter if it's Barack, Bill Clinton, Bush. But this is, I think, the first time when all the poor white Americans, the racist ones, came out in drones. the trailer parks. They came out and they said we are voting. And like, because I seen them make videos and stuff at the polls, and they were they were scaring people and stuff, but. They really brought like trucks of families in the vote, and they were not playing. Like they were serious because to them they wanted to go back in time. That's what they wanted. It's crazy
because we don't see this demographic often. But then like something about Trump, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that they are going down in numbers, like in this country. Like it's not a hidden fact that minorities are taking over the United States, and that's scaring them. But to me, it was just remarkable to see them actually, like, I forget the exact percentages, but it was about like 87% of them had come out and vote for Trump, versus other elections you don't really see them participate. You kind of just see them fall back, don't care. But another thing that I thought was interesting was a statistic that 7% of black people voted for Trump.
I don't know where they find them. I don't know if these were adopted kids that grew up and were just crazy. It's like it was ridiculous when I heard about that percentage, because it should have been 0. Same thing with the Latino vote. Should have been 0.
Honestly.
And what did they say? 29% of women voted for Trump too?
66.
Oh wow, that's
66% of white women.
Okay.
It might have been 29 for women in general, but white women.
It's just like, do you like being disrespected? I mean, come on.
But actually though, and to me, it was my dad and I were talking about this, and I was like, how do 66% of white women who literally, like, this isn't even our breed that's like running. This is one of them. Like literally one of them. Like, how do you go out of your way after years and years of fighting for voting rights, and then finally having that chance to have a representative of you in the office, you go ahead and vote for Trump? Like, what's that about? And then my dad argued that it's because women don't like to support each other. Like, simply, like, guys can be like, oh yeah, I got you, but women just have this natural rivalry, and I don't bang with that at all. I think that's something that needs to be addressed moving on. But yeah, it's wild elections. These demographics are just absolutely insane.
Now, should certain American citizens be afraid?
Okay.
Because I heard about the beatdowns and everything that's been going on.
Yeah. So as a Christian, I don't think you should be afraid, because at the end of the day, like, God has it all. Like, me being fearful is me taking away God's power of controlling my life. It's me basically taking my life into my hands and being like, you know what, God, I don't trust that you're going to look out for me. I don't trust that you got my back. I don't trust that I'm going to be safe walking out of my room. And I don't like that. But then there's been arguments that, like, God wouldn't, like, I've seen some Christians be like, God wouldn't elect Trump. No, God gives us that autonomy as human beings to make choices. That's why in your life you are able to make good choices, you're able to make bad choices, but at the end of the day, like, God sees you through them. So I don't think people should be fearful. I think, if anything, we should stay prayerful, because good things are going to happen through this time period, whether that is the power of voice, whether that is us uniting in numbers, whether it's protests, whether it's more effectful protests, I should say. I really do believe that Trump's election is going to bring change, because people were complacent when Obama was in office. I feel as if the argument was, oh, your president is black. Oh, my president is black. Oh, I don't have to do anything. Racism is over. But now we see that it's not over, and we need to do something about it. So if anything, I'm excited to see what happens throughout this journey, as long as, we unite and stay prayed up.
I definitely agree. Like, I believe that God has my back 24/7. So
absolutely.
I know I'm going to be fine. I wouldn't say you should be scared. Just, like, watch out, because I know that now, even the racists that were in the closet, they're, like, out and bold now. They're like, they don't care. They used to be, like, afraid to say things in front of our face. Now they don't care because, like we said before, people stated before, when Barack won, you know, we had a pride. We were happy to be, you know, black and proud of this country for, you know, electing a black president. Now, this is a different circumstance, but you see the racist people like, I'm proud to be racist. Yeah. I'm proud to come out and I'm going to say it in front of your face and I'm going to scare you. I'm going to act like it's the 1800s. Like,
I've never thought of that dynamic. That's crazy.
Yeah, they are coming out and saying whatever they want. Like you heard about the lady at the gas station on Facebook. They're teaching their kids already racism. Like it's bad because when I was a child and when you were a child, we hung out with all types of people. Our friends went to the playground and everything. You know, yeah, that's a Raven, Lizzie McGuire. Like, everything was just so peaceful and cool as a child. But now these kindergartners and first and second graders, like they're really hating people of different color because of their parents and grandparents and
their president.
Yeah, and their president. That's the thing. He ignited a whole fire. It's like it's gonna be crazy.
What would you say about people saying that, you know, right now is the best time to use the Second Amendment and purchase guns and whatnot? Do you agree with that?
Like I said before, like I know God got my back 24/7. So like He is my gun. So like Amen. I do practice like boxing and martial arts and everything, but so so like if I gotta go to combat, you know, fist to fist, I'd tell that racist drop his gun and let's fight. But okay, if they do want to practice that right though to get a gun, yeah, go ahead and do it to protect your family. Yeah, go ahead and do it, and because they're gonna, you know, it's a lot of racist people out here with guns. Me and you, if we go to Cabela's right now, they might look at us up and down, check our backgrounds hard, and they see that we're in college, we're doing good, but they'll probably find an excuse now that Trump has been elected and be like, you know what, it's going to take a while, probably like a couple years. Like, they'll just make up things like they did in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. I could see that coming down, so it's going to be crazy. But the good thing I've seen, though, it is a lot of good, you know, white people out here that are protesting this. Because they're like, listen, I'm not like you. I don't want to hurt people that are different from us. I'm done with it. And then a lot of people are banding together, too, like the Latinos, the gays, the blacks, the women. You see it. You know, they're banding together, and they're like, listen, something has to be done with him being in office. He cannot be here. We need Hillary back. We need somebody back, but it can't be Trump. That's what I'm seeing on CNN and everything.
I wonder if it's going to be effective. Like, that is the one thing that I've been asking myself watching these protests in Chicago, DC, New York. I keep asking myself, like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely believe in the power of protest. I mean, we saw it all throughout the 60s and throughout history. But I'm like, will this be enough to get Trump out of office? Like, will he actually be, like, impeached? What do you think?
Well, today I don't think so. I don't think it will work that way. In the 60s, yes, the protesting worked because they had a plan and a plot when they came to protesting. They actually bought from each other's stores. They you know, they made sure policies were getting done. They had backup plans. So it was protesting. It was making sure we get laws passed for us, a Pacific group, you know, and it was buying from each other's stores. Now the only way this would work is if let's say me and you, now we just shop at Ghanaian stores, Jamaican stores, even go to Indian restaurants and things like that, but we don't go to Walmart, we don't go to Acme, you know, we don't use certain brand stores. And once that happens, the owner of these stores, they're gonna be like, listen, you guys are hurting my money. They're gonna go, you guys are hurting my money. I'm gonna need you guys to do something about this Trump situation. And they're gonna, you know, because you know, the American government is backed up by big business. If we hurt big business, they're gonna be like, listen, American government, do something about this now. Get Hillary in, because it's like the mafia. They do not play that. So we can hurt them, but we got to come together, and it's kind of hard to do that though. When you got people not focused, you know.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy you said this, because my friend and I were talking about this yesterday, and we were like, what do you do? Like, you need something strong, you need something powerful. And she said simply, hurt them where it hurts most. That's their pockets. Like, that is all America is concerned about. But then you had, like, last year, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement was trying to protest through these means and protest Black Friday. Did that last? No. Like, people were right on the line, right at, you know, 12, whichever time you went. And it's just like, we are not I feel as if we're not disciplined enough. Like, we're not, like, focused enough. Like, this is what you want. Like, our, like, grandparents and stuff were, like, so assertive. They were like, this is what we want. This is how we're going to get it, and it's going to get done. And they did see it through. But then with us, it's kind of just, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, not really have, like, a designated leader. I feel as if that plays a significant part in the decisions that are made. So hopefully somebody comes through, you know, within the next, listen, it could be us, comes through within the next few months with very specific procedures as to how to protest, because otherwise we're just making a lot of noise and not being heard.
Now, you know, one thing I do respect about the East Indian American community and the Chinese and Korean community, they don't care who the president is, because no matter what, we're still going to shop at their restaurant. Well, people are still going to shop at their restaurants. They're always going to help each other economically. That's one thing I do respect about, you know, other groups. But necessarily, like with us, it's like, you know, we can't blame each other, because, you know, we kind of, especially like as an African American, right now I didn't pay this Ancestry.com to see where I'm from and all this thing, and like the culture has been, you know, snatched away and everything. That's why I believe, like, we got to come up with some type of unification for all, you know, Black people. And it's not being racist. It's just saying we got to support each other, because right now we have like no type of you know, backing financially when it comes to helping each other when things go down like this. You know, like if Trump gets elected, it's like, okay, cool, let's boycott and go to each other's grocery stores. But there are not any Black-owned grocery stores in Delaware. Like, you can't find any. So it's like you gotta do the research and find things and stuff like that. And it's like we gotta have a plan. We gotta have steps, and it's gonna take a while, but we gotta get it done.
It has to. I like that. I like that. Pan-Africanism. Like, for real. But yeah, I like that.
All right, and oh yeah, we actually covered both of these, so we can keep on going about it. So
okay.
You know what? So is African unification extremely needed at this time? So when I say African unification, I'm talking about like what are you, Ghanaian, Kenyan? Okay. So me as an African American, if I want to connect, let's say I want to connect with the Kenyans, and I want the Kenyans to connect with the Ghanaians and the whole continent and the Caribbean, like everybody, Jamaican, we are on one page as Black people. Like, listen, we do got to help each other. If we do that, that's billions, probably even more. It's true. Probably even more. Like, we would be the most powerful people on the planet, because we're like, you know what? As Black people, we're not in this concept of oh, I'm this, I'm Dominican and all. It's like, no, we do look like each other. We got the same hair and everything. We are each other. We got to help each other, because a racist person is going to say, oh, I'm not going to shoot you because you're Dominican. I'm not going to shoot you because you're Haitian. It's like, you're both Black. I always argue that. And the thing is, I feel as if there's, I can't really speak from like a Haitian or other foreigners' perspective, but from an African perspective, I will say that a lot of African, especially older Africans, they have a lot of prejudice towards African Americans, only because this is what we have been taught to think like, you know. I remember it's crazy that this would be a pivotal moment of my life, but I got my visa when I was 12 years old, and then I came to the U.S. 6 years ago, well, 7 almost. And when I was leaving, it was like a huge deal when you are leaving to go to the U.S. Like, it's literally like a celebration. Like, people come out because it's like you're going to the land of opportunities, because some of the things that, you know, wouldn't be possible, now they are. Like, it's almost like a door has opened, and it becomes like a rite of special passage. And, you know, in the midst of that, I met with a principal, with my school's principal, and she gave me, you know, words of advice, told me to remain prayerful, blah, 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 like all that good stuff. And the last thing she said was, stay away from those Blacks. Literally, a Black woman herself. Wow. Stay away from those Blacks. And I said, Blacks? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, those Blacks, you know, the ones that use bad language, they curse, they steal. Stay away from them. Don't become like one of them, okay? Don't become like one of them. And I was just like, you know, at 12 years old, you're like, what is this woman talking about? But you kind of absorb it, because like, it's like she's older than me, and as you know, especially in the African education system, you are really drilled to respect the elders. So I never really questioned it.
But then that's because of the perception, the movies, the way Black people are depicted in movies, in media, and all these things. Africans don't really get to live here, so they're not seeing the whole spectrum of how things work. They're not getting to learn Black American studies or to take a course on the movements that have gone on or the prejudice and the racism that has existed since literally 1619. Like, they don't see that, so they only see the very watered down version, which is that Black people are bad, white people are, you know, bad. And as a people, we have to break those we really have to break those norms. We have to break that mindset of thinking. Because even me coming here, I have to say, I had the hardest time with African American students. Like in my middle school, in my high school, I just could simply not connect to African Americans. Now that's completely different now, because as I grow older, I realize that I'm a Black woman and that if that's the core of me as an individual. But before, you know, starting with that mindset that was already ingrained in me, and then like coming here, and then white people being so much more open to learn about my culture versus Black people kind of making fun of my accent or making fun of like the clicking noise that they used to assume I had, like little stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of ignorance. I think there needs to be a lot of education on both ends, and most importantly, like you said, unity, because together, like, we can change things, but divided we can't. So
it's crazy you say that, because that was done purposely for us, because like they have no problem with Indians connecting with other Indians. Like, so I could be over in India and it could be an Indian American and they're connecting with each other, because like, I'm from that country, let me connect with my brother. A Chinese person can connect with a Chinese American and they have no problem. But they said we cannot unify the African people, because for some reason I think they know our ambition. We don't, once we drive, we don't stop, we go. Like it's like, once we're on a move, we're on a move. Like back in Africa, like they had cities everywhere built up, you know, like they had windows before anybody knew about windows. And like, I found out about all this stuff, and I never knew it until I went to college and did African research on my own and everything. And I was like, wow, this whole time I've been thinking they were like, you know, poor, sick and everything. And it's a shame, because in middle school, like you said, I witnessed the same thing, especially from other Black men. In school, Black boys at the time, they would make fun of African people, African girls, African boys that were in the class, calling them African booty scratcher, all types of effed up things, doing the little smacking thing, and buffing. They would just pick on them because they were different. I'm just like, and as a young kid, like, you know, I thought it was funny and everything, and like now it's disgraceful that I look at it. I'm like, I wish like I had stopped the bullying. I wish like it wasn't like that, because like, it's almost like it's like a slavery concept. They wanted us to be against each other, but every time, you know, it's funny. Every time that we were close to getting with each other, like with Marcus Garvey trying to connect with the Africans, they stopped it. The FBI, they stopped it. When Malcolm X was like, you know what, I do want a whole African unification thing. I put my ideologies to the side. I am going to be a Muslim man, but what's more important right now, though, is connecting my people, because we're getting lynched every day. Even Martin Luther King, towards his end of his reign, like 1968. He wanted the same thing Malcolm wanted, but every time we get close, they kept stopping it. But now we have a better platform. We have social media, and we just gotta get everybody on the same page. And like I said, we're not being racist. We just need each other, especially right now. Especially because I hope this woke up a lot of people. This election, that's what I hope it did, because we need it. Because it's okay, like, you know what, we do get caught up in the thing where it's like, okay, yeah, but as minorities, okay, cool. Use that word, but right now as Africans, like, what are we gonna do? Like, I don't listen. I know I'm an African man. Like, I was born in America, but I'm an African man. Roots. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm proud of it. So listen, we gotta. I'm like, let's get together. Let's not play that card where, I gotta stick together with this group. No, I'm cool with them. I'm gonna help them out, but at the same time, my money gotta go to y'all. Like,
honestly, we have to support each other. That's what it really comes down to. And I feel as if that's the one thing that I'm scared about with this whole movement. It's Black people, all of us, just kind of getting detracted from everything else that's been going on, like all the shootings that have been going on, all the violence that's been going on, like putting that on kind of like a back burner and then focusing on, you know, this whole Trump thing. Like, we have to learn how to be, what's the word? Being able to do two things at the same time.
Oh, multitask?
Multitask. We have to learn how to multitask, like how to balance, find a balance between fighting for our rights as humans and then fighting for our rights as black people, because at the end of the day, we are at the bottom of this whole pyramid. So we need to really come through for each other and try to elevate each other and continue to elevate each other before we can try to fix the whole world, you know. So
and you know what, like if people do hear this and everything, I'm gonna hurry up and give an answer before they try to interject. They might comment saying, well, what about black on black crime and things like that, that same old narrative.
My goodness.
Every race has their bad seeds, okay? Like, I'm sure Trump has some cousins. I'm sure Hillary has some cousins that's ghetto, fabulous, you know, in white terms, you know. They probably are on meth, doing some crazy stuff. And you know, we got family members or in the hood that's doing some dumb stuff. But at the same time, that's every race. They have their trash. You know, that just doesn't care, that wants to kill, that's on drugs. But they push them to the side. We get acknowledged by that, like, that's y'all. It's like, that's all black people. That's how they all act. It's like, no, that's not how we all act. Sure, that's our trash and everything, but everybody got trash. Like,
and
come
honestly,
on.
I hate the black on black argument, because I don't even look at it as trash. If anything, I just look at it as part of the system. Because
definitely.
You have to understand, like, why people are acting like this. Like, if you put people in poverty, in a situation where they have to fight for theirs, where they have to gang up because those gangs become like a source of like family in a sense, like survival. Like, if you put people in those predicaments, what are the outcomes that you're expecting? Like, you have done this to those people. So don't try to sit here and take the black on black crime. No, that is a very lazy argument as to what is happening with this system. And if anything, it just detracts from us trying to fix anything. Like, it should not be an argument at all in my case. And I agree, like, you know, white people kill each other too, whatever.
Chinese, Indian, like.
But for real, why are they killing each other when half of them don't even have to? Like, out there, it's really a struggle. It's survival of the fittest. So the situations, people have to understand the situations. Like, and that's why I emphasize on education, like, education in terms of not just going to school, but just knowing, really knowing why things happen the way they are, because I feel as if a lot of people are in the dark about these issues, and they need to be brought forth within our communities so that we understand why we're acting the way we're acting, and then we change the way we're acting so that we no longer become like a stereotype. Black on black. I hate it.
Yeah, and you know, you're right, because I didn't even mean to call that part trash, like, because you're right, in impoverished areas that happens. I was saying, like, I'm meaning like when somebody, a gangbanger or whatever, shoots a child, or, you know, cuts his girlfriend in half and put her in a trash can. I'm like, that's, how can you be that psycho? You know, like, come on. And you know what? Then that makes it worse, because then they bring that to the table too. Like, dang, you guys are getting worse. Like, really? Like, they just put us all. It's like, come on. But like you said though, the system has done this to us, because every time we try to come up, we get brought down. Like, Black Wall Street is a perfect example.
Oh my goodness.
You know, Marcus Garvey. The government. How do you blow up, you know, a whole town? Like, come on.
And it doesn't get mentioned in history. That's what baffles me. It's like, you do all of these crazy things, and then you kind of just like, oh, never happened. Shh, don't talk about it. Yeah, you can learn about it in your Black American Studies class, not in 8th grade, not in high school, where I should be learning about this. It's horrible. And I feel as if the education system plays such a significant part in Black identity. Like, in BAMS, for example, we learn that, like, college is a microcosm of society. And so when you're in a situation like UD, where it's, like, majority white, like, we have, 4% white people and 17%, not even 17, like 77, 80% whites. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like you're trying to tell us that we're a minority, like, that we're always supposed to be down there, that this is how it's supposed to be. You making it here, you're lucky, you're that lucky percentage. Like, no, it's this whole system from education, governing, politics, it just really needs to be talked about in better ways.
Yeah, and you know, as a kid, coming up, I was kind of like, I want to say, blind to certain things. Like, when I was coming up, the ideal girl or whatever, you know, was that blonde hair, blue eyed girl that I would see on Disney or things like that, and every like black boy wanted that exotic looking girl, and I was just like, you just couldn't help it. It's like you didn't even turn an eye to a black woman. And then as I got like, well, I want to say like my freshman year of college, I was like, what the hell? What? Like I'm like, okay, yeah, all women are beautiful, but like I'm like, why wouldn't I like, you know, be in love with a black woman or like a black woman because like they're beautiful. I'm like the dark skin shit, there's nothing wrong with that at
Honestly.
all. I was like damn, I was so blind. But it's like, because the more I learned, the more happy I was, and the more I appreciated black women, especially for all they go through and all the things they do. And that's everywhere. I went in Africa, in the Caribbean, everywhere, even here in America. And so I was like, dang, I said I appreciate him. I love him, so that I'm gonna show my love and respect for them. And whenever they come up, we gotta support them. Like whenever they got something going on, we gotta support them. And that's how we gotta do it as black men. You know, like as soon as they come up, we gotta ride for them. Because I noticed one thing, like when I see like a Indian couple go to the movie theater, like they're like in love, they're happy, and they can't wait to get with each other. And it's like, I know you got your arranged marriages, but for the most part, some of them
arranged marriages.
Yeah, I heard a lot of my friends tell me that.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
They come up and they're like, you know what? From what they learn and they love their culture. It's like, love it, appreciate it.
Honestly, no, and I think you yourself set a great example. You know, from everything you're doing. I mean, your books, like the epitome of trying to encourage young black women and you know, black kids in general in our communities to lift up, and just your support. I've experienced it firsthand. So you know, it's just a matter of standing out as a leader, you know, that person who will lead the rest to seeing that it's not lame to do this, it's not lame to write, like that's talent, it's beautiful, it's genius, it's not lame to support, like if anything that's strength, you know what I'm saying, like that's power. That is a powerful black man who can take anything like that, he's like all of the barriers that have been set for him and go past them and succeed. So we need leaders like you, especially in the black men community, because with women, I feel as if they're starting to get, right now, African American women are the most educated group in America, so you can see that rising. But I feel as if we definitely need more leaders, more black men leaders who are going to break the stereotypes of what it means to be a black man and to encourage people to step out of their boundaries. So yeah, I'm excited to see you do that in a few years. Well, you are already.
You're just working and working, just
honestly.
And I just want to teach our young boys, you know, just to be gentlemen too. At the same time, to our women, because it's like when you know, open the door for them. You know what I'm saying? Make sure just be a gentleman. Treat them with respect. Like
it's so rare though. So
goodness gracious, like treat them with respect. Like do what you can to help them. Ask them if they need help. Like one of my friends, Brianna, she goes to Syracuse, and she said like she needed help with like, you know, groceries and stuff like that. Sent her money on PayPal just to help her out. You know, she needed it. So I said, you know, we as black men, we should like, you know what, let's come.
That's amazing.
You know, it should be normal. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be cool. It should be. It's like.
But that's the thing. That's why it's actually crazy. Like I agree with you. It should be normal, but it's so. Like completely out of context, like it doesn't happen at all, that when it does happen it's like, what? Like you did that, you know what I'm saying? Like even black boys, I'm pretty sure if you talk to them and you told them that, they'll be like, what, you sent your money to, you know what I'm saying? But
oh yeah, they would have a fit.
Support,
like,
exactly.
Like, they'd be like, they would be like, oh yeah, you're good. They would be like, well, you could have bought Jordans with those, you know? You could have bought a jacket or something. I was like, no, here we go. We have a black educated woman in college. She's doing her thing, getting her master's. She's and she need help with groceries. I'm gonna give her money. Like she's not, you know. And then at the same time, if it's a black single mother or whatever, because the dusty dude just walked out of her life, not being a man. Hey, I'm gonna help her out. Give her child a toy for Christmas. Do something. Like come up with programs and everything. It's like. And I always think about this stuff. I always jot it down because I'm a writer and I can't help. So I write notes about what I'm gonna do to help like our people and stuff. And it's like it should be normal. This should happen. But it's so hard to get us on the same page because we get so distracted. We're worried about the next dance, the next rap song, and like, hey, if you want to go out and party, you could do that. But at the same time, when you get home, get focused, get back on business.
It's true. It's true. Go have fun, but just come right back to reality and be able to do that. I love that. That's a really positive example. Like feel as if like little stuff like that, you know, those examples. And I don't know if it's something that needs to be put as after school programs, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe something within the community, something fun. I don't know, but it needs to happen, because the rate that our black men are going is just like, I see memes on Twitter and stuff, and I'm just like, this is disgusting. Like, this should not, like, and then the hookup culture obviously has played a significant part in guys acting like dogs, but it's just like, don't do that. You're a king. You should not be acting any raggedy type of way. But
have you seen the thing that the Trick Daddy said or something?
What is that?
Oh my goodness, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. But he was just like, you know, y'all black women. You know, he was saying something about black women, but and he's a rapper and everything. But I'm like, dang, see, if the little kids hear this, little black boys, you set me back again. Like, I'm up here trying to put in work, and then you knock me back 20 steps, and I gotta start all over. Like, well, what about what Trick Daddy said? I'm like, well, forget what he said. Like, I'm gonna show you real quick. Let me find it. But
Trick
it was
Daddy,
sad.
that name on its own.
Yeah, he was saying like you know, Latino women and white women, like, their bodies getting real out here. Y'all better watch out. Like, it was just, it was just real ignorant. I'm just like, yo, this is what we're dealing with right now. Like,
the bodies that they're getting surgery for to look like black women.
Yeah, and then I'm like, come on, you don't say that, man. Like, come on. But you're right.
Ridiculous.
The social media age, it's brought a lot of thirsty dudes in the mix, and they can't help but to act stupid. Here we go. Hoping it plays. Is the 4G good here?
Yeah.
These white hoes, they just
Oh shoot.
Oh man.
they just start getting
Come on.
finer than a motherfucker. Y'all black hoes better tighten up. I'm telling you. Tighten up. Y'all doing all that extra shit for nothing. You're not achieving nothing, bitch.
Yeah.
Get your ass done, your titties done, and you're paying $150 to get your makeup done just to go to a local club, bitch. Tighten up, ho. These Spanish and these white hoes is getting very spiffy on y'all. They fuck around and learn how to fry chicken. You hoes is useless.
I was like, really? Like, when I saw that, I was like, really, man? You come on. But like, if a little boy like looks up to him,
Yeah.
you ingrain that into his head, you know.
It's crazy. What just came to my mind is the characterization of women is so prevalent, but yet the characterization of men isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Privilege.
hardly ever do we ever, like, me and my girl say, oh, I would never talk to a white boy, or I would never talk to a black boy. Like, it's weird. Like, why is it that? And then it's always with stuff like that, with our bodies, our skin, our hair, such superficial stuff. Like, there's so much more to a human being, and that's something that every young person needs to learn. There's so much more to a human being than just their physical attributes. Like, so much more. And that's why there's the divorce rate is getting to like 50, 60% now. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's because people get into relationships with all these superficial ideas of what's gonna make them happy, and then completely miss the core, what really makes the foundation of a relationship real. So then you hear stuff like that, and people are like, yeah, you're right. And then black women getting insecure. They're like, oh my God. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care if she got a weave in, I don't care if she got a baldy, I don't care if she's natural. If me and her can connect, I'm good. You know, like that's how it is. And then, like with any woman, but if I can connect with that black woman, that's fine. But the stuff that's being shoved down our throats, and like, and I would hope that due to social media that some of our boys are waking up. Yeah. And seeing, especially with all like the you know, the violence, especially with these officers. Now, what I call them race soldiers, because I can tell that they're killing because of race. Because I believe a police officer does his duty. Now, if a police officer is selling drugs, he's a drug dealer. If a police officer is raping women, he's using his power to rape women, he's a rapist. He's not a police officer. So if a police officer is killing people based on our race, he's not a police officer, he's a race soldier. And I think, like, as black people, we got to use those terms. Because if we say, oh, well, it's too many bad cops out here, then the whole police unions come at us and saying, oh, you don't respect police officers? It's like, no, I do. I respect great police officers. So I think we should say, well, you know what, we don't respect race soldiers because they're basically like Nazis. It's like, remember the guy with his hands up, he was helping an autistic kid? How do you get shot? I mean, it makes no sense. How do you get shot? You're laying on the ground, your hands up, and the race soldier shoots him 3 times.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense.
It's crazy. I believe that it's part of a quota they're trying to reach. Like, obviously, like, you know, there's police officer quotas, but also a quota in terms of keeping black numbers down. Like, they understand. They know what's happening to this country with minorities, with Hispanics. The only reason why blacks are not growing at a exponential rate is because we keep getting shot down, and our black men are getting shot down, and not just shot down. You look at the mass incarceration rates. Have you watched the documentary 13?
Yo, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was incredible.
But it just puts really into perspective how strong the black man has to be, how powerful the black man has to be, that you have to take all these measures. You have to kill them, you have to jail them, you have to just do all these extreme things to just kind of reduce them, and to keep black women as single moms, and to take away our fathers and our sons. It's ridiculous, because, you know, without that black, you know, seed, you're not going to have black people grow. And that's why I'm such an encourager of black love, to like continue growing, to continue show that we can stand strong in numbers, and you know, build our race the way it should be built, you know. So yeah,
because like without y'all we wouldn't even be here, you know, because like they did so much to keep us down, castrate us and hang us, and like hang us for looking at at a white woman or something like that. 2 years ago, when I shot my What Is Life documentary, I went down to like this neighborhood near Rehoboth Beach, waiting on a friend, and me and my brother were down there just waiting. It was about like what, 10 in the morning. We pulled into the neighborhood. This elderly white woman, she was walking her dog, and she stares at my car. She kept staring and staring, and then she picks up her phone and calls. I don't know who she's calling. Before I know it, like this security guy for the neighborhood,
oh my God,
he comes out of nowhere. And he's like, "Hey, I heard it was a disturbance."
Oh my God!
I was like, I said this on my old Facebook page a while back, but yeah, I was just like, a disturbance? I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I'm waiting on a friend to record a documentary, and he looked at me like, "Yeah, sure." Like he thought I was lying, and my camera and everything was there. And so he said, "You know, did you guys spend the night?" Some lady saying he spent the night here. I'm like, "No." I said, "We just got here, sir."
Literally
like,
made up a whole story.
Yeah, made up a whole story. So it looks like I'm trespassing into the neighborhood because it's beautiful and nice. It look like I'm trespassing. It looks like I'm making up a lie. He's like, "Well, where's your friend?" I'm like, "I'm waiting on her. I'm trying to call her because she wasn't answering the phone." And he was like, "Look, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave because, you know, I don't know what's going on or anything." And I said, "Okay, sir." I didn't even want to argue. I said, "Okay, sir, I'm gonna leave." So I left, told my friend and everything, and I was just like, and as we were leaving, the older lady started yelling. She was like, "You people don't belong here. You're always in the wrong place at the wrong time." She said, "You know, you guys, you need to make sure you stay out of our neighborhoods and stuff like that." I'm like, "Lady, I was just here to do a documentary." And she said, "Yeah, right. You spent the night." And she's saying this in front of the security guard so he could hear her. And I said, and I wanted to cuss so bad, but I was like, "Lady, you have a blessed day." And then she said, whatever. She said, "You need to get out of her neighborhood." And she was yelling and shouting. Oh, my little brother was like,
actually crazy.
Yeah, my brother was like,
spent the night. What?
My little brother was like, "Oh, I wish I could just throw her little dog in the beach." Because if we were so pissed, I'm like, this really, we can get kicked out of neighborhoods just for being us.
Honestly.
So it's like, man, I can't wear a hoodie. I can't do anything.
Nothing.
And so it's hard to come up.
Even when you wear a suit, it's suspect. It's like, whose suit is that? What are you doing? What are you trying to... It's ridiculous. Black men can't just live, and that's so unfair. So incredibly unfair.
And our neighborhoods are so deprived. I gotta be, you know, scared walking around there, and it's like, it's not their fault, but like these young boys are hungry. And they're like, and their only family is a gang, you know. And at the same time, it's like they're learning all this crap from other gang members, and they're just like, "Listen, I need you to kill this person to get this job done." It's like a little mafia, you know. It's like, because their mindset is all messed up, and then here in the suburbs, we can't walk around freely. And then like when we do find our little niche or our little group in the suburbs or at our universities, so it's like one little problem. The little problem is those group of friends might not agree with our political views. They might not agree with what's going on in the media. Like if I get shot unarmed, they might say, you know, I was a thug even though I have no record. And those group of friends might encourage you not to like your own women. So it's like so it's like so much to be. It's so much I gotta get
woke.
done.
You have to be woke as an individual, as a black man. You have to be very, very aware of the role that you play in society and that the role that you play to yourself. Like, you have to be self-conscious of who you are, what you want to do, how you want to emulate, how you want to change things before you can ever, and even as an individual in general, but as a black man particularly, because this world will try to tell you everything, that you're not worthy, you're not capable, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, there are so many limitations placed on black men, but that is exactly why that emphasis needs to be built when they're young, you know, so that you're growing with it. Like, for me, I don't have a brother, but my little sisters, I take little measures. Like, I know I'm starting to have that conversation with my older sister, Shiana. So, like, we watched Roots together. Like, we'll have conversations about race, like all that good stuff. I ask her how she's being treated. She's a very confident girl, so she doesn't really see color as an issue, but she understands that sometimes her skin color or the braids that she hairs her hair in can affect her. My goal is, as I grow into a bigger sister and as I become a mother one day, to be very, very aware of, like, exactly what is being fed into children's minds, because that's incredible. It's really important. I watched this video the other day of a teacher. She went to Spelman, and she teaches, like, a class of majority black students, and she said brown students, but I didn't really see any brown students. It was mostly black kids. Each and every single day before any lesson, she starts by telling them, like, I am beautiful. Like, she recites. You saw the video? So beautiful.
Yeah, that was,
absolutely. Like, that is the emphasis, that, because little words of affirmation like that, and even adults don't do them enough. But little words of affirmation, looking at yourself every single day and telling yourself something positive about who you are, about who you want to be, about what you want to do, it really goes a long way. And we don't do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, white kids, some of them, a lot of them do it. Like, you hear, yeah, my mom used to tell me I'm beautiful every day. And you don't think that that's, like, you know, plays a role, but
plays a big role.
It plays a huge role.
Yeah, big one.
So, like, those first few years of how a child is raised, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So when you have a child early and you're not there to give them that touch, that those hugs, those kisses, those whatever it is, like, and not just early, but, like, unprepared, whichever the case might be, busy, you know, doing work, whatever, you don't understand, but you are slowly building who your child is, and it might not be the best thing. So, again, education needs to be done on every retrospect. But yeah.
My dad, he actually, like, he thanks me for I never realized it, but, like, when I made my first children's book and I, like, had different races on there and stuff like that, that was done purposely. That, like, you know, they started off to show, like, okay, when it comes to me holding a media platform, when it comes to making children's stories, I do want to represent every child, because I care about, because kids are innocent. I want to represent all kids. So it's like, for that first book, I was like, okay, cool. Let me represent all kids, put them all in, so they can see, like, the differences. And then for these next books, you know, just keep going doing the same thing, represent different cultures and things like that. But I show my little brothers, like, Little Bill, you know,
love Little Bill.
Yeah, and it's that shouldn't have been taken off Nick Jr.
Honestly,
come on.
Honestly,
like, if Seventh Heaven didn't get taken off air, like the guy that molested the kid, like, it makes no sense. Like,
absolutely.
First of all, everything was good about, like, the Cosby Show, the Little Bill, regardless of how you feel about what he did. You didn't have to remove his shows, and that was, to me, that was purposely done. Because
you know it.
We gotta watch Little Bill on YouTube, but they love it though. You know, they love it, and I try to find anything for them. Like, my little sister, she likes Doc McStuffins. You know,
yeah, my sister is like that.
Yeah, she likes Princess Tiana. You know, and it's these things that that, like you said, it helps. The imagery helps. You know, and I see, like. And so sometimes, like, we gotta follow certain people, like, follow how they act to keep their culture together. It's like, do the same thing.
Take yourself out, observe, and then go and take.
Yeah, I peep game with them, because they don't play. They keep it 100 with each other.
I need to start observing them a little bit more.
Yeah, shoot, when you're riding around, check out it's a lot of Indian grocery stores. Like it's a lot, and they make sure they go there in drones too. They don't play. And they shop at each other's restaurants too. It's like
that's support,
man.
That's support.
And with the Chinatowns all in different cities, do the same thing. I'm like, yo, this is where it's at. So, like me, I'm just trying to make sure I pay attention to the imagery. I look out and see what's going on in the world. I see what group is doing what, and I'm like, okay, what can I do to help improve my group? You know, like.
So, from what it looks like, it feels like there's a combination of culture in terms of like Asians and Indians. What do you think would be that binding culture as Africans and African Americans?
Now with them, you said a combination of culture, right?
Because that's what it feels like. It's like when you look at those Indian stores, Asian stores, like whether it's the food that brings a sense of home or whichever the case might be, there's something that's drawing them. What do you think would be that drawing factor to connect Africans and blacks, given the two entirely, like one birthed another, yet they're entirely different?
Exactly. So I guess it definitely wouldn't be the food, because like I love all the food, because once I tried it, I guess I was biased, so I was like, okay, it's African food. But I
love soul food.
Yeah, exactly.
Soul food so much.
So it's like, okay, so we got soul food and African food, but you might have your ignorant people that's like, oh, it's nasty, so we can't come together on that. The dances probably not, the music not that. So it's like, to me, the only thing right now that I can think of is money. Right now, it's just money. Saying it's like you gotta kind of use a mafia way of thinking when it comes to this. Not killing somebody, but money terms. Saying
sounds good.
All right. Now, so after this whole fiasco with the election and everything, what advice would you give to our people? Like, I know we mentioned a lot of things in this podcast, you know, but even if you touch upon it again, that's fine. What advice would you give to our people when it comes to just, like, you know, finding a solution to making us better, like just to getting together? What solution can you come up with? It's like, you know what, black people, let's get something done. Let's do something. Yeah,
I think we need to realize our greatness. I think we need to realize that as black people, we know what resilience means. We know what strength means. We know what passion means. Like, we are, and this is my argument, but I think black people are the most blessed group in the entire world. Like, just the most diverse group, the most blessed group, whatever you want to call it. But we can't claim that until we know our worth. I think it's time for us to wake up, to stop trying to listen to what another group is trying to, you know, determine for us in terms of our fate, in terms of how we perceive each other, in terms of how we perceive ourselves. I think it's time that we stand strong and just make a conscious effort to be better and to do better, to make our communities better. Like, just because you have made it, don't forget about the people who are back there, you know, still struggling. Just because you have a better job and you're surrounded by white people, don't forget that there are people who can't get jobs because there's a system that is in place that is making numerous measures to make sure that they don't get jobs, you know? It's like, just because your kid is getting a private education, don't forget that there are kids who aren't going to school or, you know, other situations. So as black people, we need to put class aside. We need to put status aside. We need to just come together. And I mean really coming together and understanding that the cause is greater than us. The cause is our future. It's our children's future. It's our grandchildren's future. And it begins with us. We need to be better role models. We need to be better leaders. We need to try to be a leader in whichever way you are, whether it's educating that ignorant white person or whichever race person who works at your job, whether it's taking the time out to just show gratitude and thanksgiving and appreciation for anyone in your community, in your family, and to just be less selfish. You know, I feel as if, like, the way the world is set up right now, it's all about me. It's like me and mine, you know, me and my family, me and my situation, and then we forget about the community. So yeah, I would just say, let's make a conscious effort to build each other up and when we really do that and do that, you know, selflessly, wholeheartedly, that's when we're going to do change. The protests matter. Everything does matter, like that we're doing, and they are positive movements towards the direction that we want to go. But until we believe in our hearts that the fight is not over and that we need to continue on the legacy that the people who were before us have set, and if anything, continue to bring more boundaries and, you know, more strides, then nothing will change. Then one last thing I want to say, people always ask who they would be, you know, in the civil rights movement, or, you know, back, you know, slavery days or segregation. They ask themselves, I wonder what I would be doing if I were a part of that history. Well, you need to stop wondering, because this is the time. Like, Donald Trump has been elected. This hasn't happened since 1928, having a Republican Party running everything. So literally, we are living in history, and this will be documented. How do you want to say you contributed to part of this history? So
that was awesome, and you nailed it right there. Like, if you want to say, okay, yeah, who would I be, you know, in the 60s or in the 1800s? Like right now, at this time, you don't have to hold anything back, because if this man can say he's grabbing women by the privates and stuff like that, if these open racists want to come out and threaten people at gas stations and have their kids write swastikas on walls, you should not be afraid to speak your mind at this point. Don't be afraid to lose your job at this point, because if you lose your job for speaking your mind about how you're trying to help your people, then something's wrong with the society, because it makes no sense. And if a man can say those type of things and get elected president, then we really know what we're dealing with. You know, so don't be afraid to speak your mind. And these movements can't last like 2 months and then we call it a quits. We can't be like, okay, oh yeah, we're helping each other out because of what's going on, and then all of a sudden a new dance come out and then we forgot everything. Or we get our favorite team won a Super Bowl and then we forgot everything. It's like, no, you can like
effort,
yes, like your things and then keep it moving at the same time. Like, and then don't. And because, like, the closer we get to each other, like, hopefully this works, the closer we do get to each other, the media will try to find, you know, those coons that I call, those people like the Stacy Dashes and the other people that's like, you know what, they're dumb because there isn't any racism. Trump won because, you know, they were trying to fight the platform of the government, the way the government. No. Trump won on racism. Like they're gonna try to deflect us. Like so, don't fall for the deflection. That's one problem we do have. Every time we come together, they find other black people to help deflect, and then they try to say don't focus on racism. It's all about classism and things like that. No, there were rich white people, middle class white people, and poor white people that voted for Trump because they don't like you. Okay, so that's what they agree on. They do not care that they're poor. I'm telling you that now. Even if Trump doesn't give them the things that they want, like certain jobs or giving them money, they don't care. They're happy that he's in office and Barack is out. Waking up every morning and waking up every morning and seeing Barack in office pissed them off, and you see it. Waking up every morning and seeing Michelle help out kids and everything pissed them off. They couldn't stand it. So, and
that's the argument, that this was a white lash against Barack Obama. Like, how ironic is it that right after we had the first black president of the United States, we had Donald Trump
instead of a woman, right?
Like, ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
We're about to make history again, like
completely going backwards. But that's just America. That's just America. That's the history of America. Every single time there's black progress, they take it right out. Oh, you thought you were about to do this. You thought y'all were about to say Black Lives Matter. You thought black is beautiful. Like, it's constantly a you thought, but it's time for us to stand up and be like, yo, actually, I know, you know, like, I know we are great. I know we can do it. Like, so yeah. Did
you have any Facebook friends you had to unfriend?
No.
Oh, okay.
Interestingly enough, I didn't. Like, I have the ones that are on there, like my white friends are kind of very passive, and they'll be like, you know, let's all love each other. it's okay, like, don't do that. Love Trump's hate, yeah, but you know, you have to support the people and their thoughts, which is BS. It's just a way of them saying, oh, I'm white, don't really care, but I'm gonna show support. So haven't really, and that's another thing. How do you feel about unfriending people?
Well, that's the thing. Well, you know what? Actually had a lot of let's say friends from high school. They didn't care, like their racism came out. They were like, listen, I voted for Trump. I don't give a damn what you think. I think he's gonna, he's gonna help this country. Trump is the best. Even girls were saying it. You know, they were saying Trump is the best. Yeah, there was a lot of them on Instagram and Facebook. Now, let me see. I see their opinion. I'm not gonna say I respect it. I see their opinion. I see their view, and you know, I'm not gonna unfriend them for it. I'm glad that Trump has opened up my eyes and see who I got to deal with. So I'm gonna keep them right on my page to see what's going on. You know, see what they're applying, to see what I got to deal with. Because you know, I gotta.
That's the smart way. Yeah, like people are like, oh, I don't want to watch Fox News because everybody says, nah, you better be right on there because that's where they telling people what the next move is. Like, shoot, they could be saying, oh, we're about to do this to black people, KKKs, finna plan something. But if none of us are watching it, we would never know. So I think it's very important to just keep your feelings out of it and like be smart. Be a smart person. Like just really reflect and use all these things that are coming against you to build up on yourself and your community. Like, because now you'll be prepared. You know, if they hit you with a fact like, oh, this, you already saw it, so you know what's coming up, and you already have facts lined up to completely rebuke what they're trying to say. So yeah, preparation is key.
Exactly. Pay attention to those Klan tweets. Pay attention to the Klan videos, the neo-Nazi videos, because they are serious now. Well, they were always serious, but now that they think it's 1930 again, they're gonna do whatever they want. And I feel bad for the minorities that live, especially the black people. I feel bad for them that live in Alabama, Georgia.
I was just about to say that. The ones down south.
Yeah, and especially if they live, you know, in a backwoods area.
Oh my goodness, I cannot imagine what it is like to be over there.
I know, right?
Like, I literally was saying that to myself today. Like, this is Delaware, and I guess that's part of the reason why we haven't really felt the heat. Like, you know,
we have the passive people that secretly voted for Trump. We have those people around, like New York, PA. They secretly voted for Trump. But Alabama and Georgia, Mississippi.
Like, can you imagine living in a state where they blatantly voted for Trump? Like, they're not even hiding it. The KKK is coming out, walking down the street. What do you do?
I know, right?
What do you do in that predicament?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
That has to be a scary feeling.
I can't imagine that. I really cannot imagine that. Oh, like my friend the other day, she had a bad instance where she was walking and then, you know, a drunk white person, keyword drunk, because if they were sober, you know dang well they would not have been saying nothing. But, you know, liquor courage, so start calling her the N-word and is like, you know, Trump won, and she starts dipping. Like, she literally runs in the middle of traffic and almost gets hit by a car, but she did not care. She just wanted to get away, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, run. But this is like a drunk person, you know what I'm saying? It's like one instance, and hopefully there aren't any more. But down south, you see people marching with them scared. Those KKK hats really scare me. The shade,
I know what you mean.
The way they're cut off. I would be terrified. I don't know what I'd do. So.
It's the South and it's the Midwest, the central part of you know, of our country. You got North Dakota, Montana, where it's not a lot of black people at, you know, and because their votes came in quick. Montana, North Dakota, Oklahoma, like Texas.
Yeah.
God, but their votes came in quick, and it was a blowout against Hillary, you know. So it was just like, damn, this is what we're dealing with.
Honestly.
And you know, and this is the thing. This is why I said it was scary, and like we shouldn't be afraid because we got God on our side. But this is why I said it was kind of scary, because the KKK and the neo-Nazis wanted to endorse him and they favored him, and the media kept focusing on Hillary's emails. My thing is, forget the damn emails at that point. Forget the damn emails if you got terrorists endorsing this man. You know, domestic terrorists are trying to endorse this man.
They don't care.
And they don't care. That's the crazy part. Imagine if we had a history of lynching like white people or whatever, and that group that lynched white people endorsed Barack.
It would have never happened.
Exactly, right?
But
exactly. And that's the thing. I gotta come up with a crazy scenario about reality.
Right?
And it's like, where are we living? Like, come on.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're gonna end it off like that. And remember, people, it's on us to change the world. It's on us to be better, and it's on us to be positive, and it's on us to be great. And you guys have a good night.